What is happening in it? JGame Dude here, and this time I'm going to be talking about Danmachi Season 4 Part 2. And Danmachi has been an interesting series for the most part. Unfortunately, with Season 4 Part 1, it was the weakest season of the lot. Season 1 was a good introduction to the series. Season 2 was sort of a good continuation, added a little bit more flavor to the world, added more characters. Season 3 added more characters, albeit that it just kind of was a little bit on the weaker end of like what Season 1 and 2 did. And then Season 4 Part 1 kind of was the weakest season period of the show, because it added another sort of temporary support character in the form of Marie the Mermaid. But on top of that, it was meant to be like sort of a ramping up to what Season 4 Part 2 was going to be. Now that I've seen Season 4 Part 2, first and foremost, before I forget to talk about it, the opening and ending are both pretty bland, to be completely honest. So nothing special there, nothing to write home about. I can't say any of them are particular bangers or anything, and not any specific part does it. It's just, it happens, almost. As for the show itself, it's a continuation, as mentioned, from Part 1 of Season 4. We find ourselves in a pretty tough situation. All of the characters are struggling, albeit that I think by this time the floor boss had been defeated. I could be wrong about that. And trying to be as not spoilery as possible, this whole arc kind of focuses on Ryu's and Belle's relationship, and so we kind of learn more about her past. She's a fairly mysterious character for the most part, and kind of like why she got the nickname the Gale Wind. It does lean into that pretty well. However, there are some flashbacks in pretty weird places. But they did some of the smarter flashbacks, which were done at the beginning of an episode, to be like, here's a little flashback, now let's get you back into it. Which I think might have been the better option, or the better way of doing the actual flashbacks in question. All in all, it was a fun time to watch. Can't really say too many negative things about it. I feel like there were too many flashbacks, and some of the flashbacks did repeat themselves. And also the chick who tries to predict the future through her dreams, she's very, very annoying. Because yeah, if she knows a disaster is about to pass and she's trying to do something about it, but she's scared out of her mind, she just keeps constantly admitting it over and over again, to the point that her friend Daphne, she gets really, really annoyed with her, and I feel like I'm getting just as annoyed as Daphne is. So she was definitely a downer for... Not a downer per se, but like it definitely lacked the good qualities of other characters. Kind of bringing the whole package down quite a bit because of how incessantly annoying she can be throughout both Part 1 and Part 2. Part 2 of Season 4 isn't the strongest season. I think it would have to be Season 2, I think, because there's 2 story arcs and it's a longer season overall. Why they split Season 4 into two parts of 11 episodes each, so 22 episodes total, I won't know. But I feel like there should have been more episodes. I feel like we were missing something. The great danger of the dungeon felt kind of anticlimactic and kind of wimpy in a way. So all in all, I thought that it was pretty okay. Like, I suppose it did its job, albeit in a very serviceable manner. Yeah, so for the most part, there isn't really much to say, if I'm being completely honest. What I haven't already said about Season 4 Part 1. So I think all in all, for all the good that it does, there are some negatives that kind of really hold it back quite a bit. So on the My Anime List scale, I'm going to be giving this a 6 out of 10. It's an okay show. Unfortunately, okay, it says fine here for 6, so I'll go with that. But yeah, it's okay for what it's worth. It's not great, and I feel like, to me, Danmachi was always the better Sword Art Online. Albeit the Sword Art Online did the first episode so much better than most other shows could, about, main characters going into games and then realizing, this isn't good. Danmachi is not that, because that is what the world that the characters live in. It is not an isekai. It is not the whole sort of game aspect. of a character just diving into like a VR game and then being stuck there forever. At the end of the day, like, what Sword Art Online tried to do, this show did better for the most part, but I feel like it's kind of dropping the ball now with JC's staff, so it'll be interesting to see whether or not they continue this, especially with shows like Bungo Stray Dogs that have been just climbing higher and higher in terms of quality and is currently on their 5th season. And for this show also to have done 5 seasons, it just kind of feels very lacking in that sense. So I feel like we should be at like a higher plateau of not just quality but also storytelling, and that may also be partly involved with the writing of the source material. But yeah, I wouldn't be able to pick apart exactly who or what kind of went wrong with this one, but it's not necessarily bad by any means. It's just a great time waster to watch, albeit that the emotional moments don't hit as hard as they should have, and that's kind of why I feel like the show should have been a bit longer, to be completely honest. But yeah, with all that said and done, let me know what you guys thought about Danmachi Season 4 Part 2 in the comments below. Like the video if you made it this far, would really appreciate it. You know, see like a bit of an attendance check to see how many people actually watched to the end. And subscribe to the channel because I'd like my videos to go out to more people, and hopefully more people will in turn come back and watch other videos on the channel. And with all that said and done, I'll see you guys next time.